charger? The charger. One of these days, we're going to actually start out professionally. One of these days.
Maybe.
Well, welcome back, guys, to the laundry room. We have a lot of fun things to talk to you guys about. I don't even have anything to, gripe or argue about today.
Well, I went to Walmart. And I was in line. And the lady asked me, was I in line? And it's like, I'm behind the person and the other person.
Maybe you didn't appear to be in line.
No, I was directly behind. I wasn't to the side. I wasn't slanted. My cart wasn't turned a certain kind of way. I was literally in line like a first grader, head first. And she was like, are you in line? And the whole time she kept coming up on my left like she was trying to cut me off. And I was just like,
she was trying to insinuate that you wasn't
we minorities need to get together. How about you just keep your distance? Give me my personal space.
She was
and the line gonna move the way the line gonna move. I had no control over what's in front of me. Okay? I hate Walmart. I hate going into Walmart. Anyway.
Oh, gosh.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's always good to talk to you guys on Wednesday. So, since the last time we were together, the Super Bowl happened.
Did it?
It did. I mean, some kind of say it didn't happen. It was like the most boring Super Bowl ever watched. I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I did not watch the Super Bowl.
I shouldn't have. Bad.
Well, see, I don't know now. So now I'm kind of like this. I thought about that, and I was kind of I had expectations, and they say, if you want to disappoint yourself, continue to have expectations for people, yada yada yada. But I was expecting, people that I follow on social media, friends of mine. I saw who was and who wasn't watching the Super Bowl, and so at first I was like, can we just stick together on one thing? Like, if we pick the color yellow, can we just say we're going to stay with yellow? Like, just one thing, right? We ain't got to do orange. We don't need no green. Just stick to the one thing. But that is the reality of the situation. So, I don't watch football, but yet I shop at Walmart and they fund the private prison. So, it's like you can't really be mad at people for their choice and what they choose to do. It doesn't mean that they're not against what's happening. I think we still have to be conscious and strategic and not continuing to fund things that do not support us. And we all know that everyone in the NFL does not feel that way, but they still have jobs, right? Like Sierra. Sierra supports her husband. Like, how could she not support her husband?
Right.
Russell Wilson, works for the Seahawks. I'm like, I can't expect her to be like, I'm not going to show up to the game, bring my daughter and my son here. This is their dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, I'm just kind of like, well, everybody just processing their own little way and can't get mad at people. I got friends still go to Starbucks and people who can't wait to go to Waffle House. I'd be like, ooh. But it's not my choice. It's their choice. And I think we just have to allow people to have that freedom without saying, can we all stick together?
So for me, my protest in the NFL is I like the sport of football.
Exactly.
I actually love the sport of football.
And they ruined it for a lot of people.
Exactly, they have. So I've decided that they won't get the viewership from me.
Mm-hmm.
They can. I'll go to somebody else's house. I'll try to find somewhere else where the game is already on, but they won't get the viewership from me.
Yeah.
I don't buy any more NFL apparel. Anything outside of that, like I even try to stay away from brands that sponsor NFL. Just to kind of, I guess, pad my conscience as much as I can.
I know.
But because, like I said, I do love the sport of football. I grew up with the sport of football, playing the sport of football, even watching the NFL, and it pains me that something we love has so many characteristics of slavery.
Yeah, that's one side of it. And then everybody's always talking about you do like the good thing and what's the good thing. You choose the better option. Like, oh, it's not right. It's not nice to be rude. You choose the polite thing, or you choose to do what's right. And you would kind of think that the NFL wouldn't even want to be associated with this type of thing, right? Because they're a huge franchise. But it has really come down to it, and the responses from Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem and what he stands for and not being able to play, and just the response that's come back from that. It has not always been, like, oh, we understand, it hasn't come off like that. It's like, even the president had something negative to say, and I won't repeat it because I don't remember it exactly, but you would think that their stance on it would be a little bit better. Like, if it was domestic violence,
their constituents,
if it was trafficking.
Their constituents are, we would think, because most of the NFL is African American, that most of the constituents would be African Americans, but they aren't.
We know.
And because they aren't, the NFL kind of plays to.
They don't have.
They don't necessarily have to play to us.
Exactly. You ain't gonna work then.
Exactly, because we'll get somebody else to be in your position.
Exactly. People are waiting in line. Just like the Super Bowl performance.
It was terrible.
It's like, I'm gonna give Gladys Knight a pat. I honestly don't care. The twins from the Beyonce concert went in there. Sierra performed. I don't even listen to Travis. Then Sierra had some. She was performing in part of it wasn't the Super Bowl halftime show. It was some part of something. She was part. Apparently, okay. I don't know. Am I wrong?
She didn't get no television.
I read that somewhere.
She didn't get no television.
I read that somewhere, and then there was Travis Scott, and I don't remember Maroon 5, and then I don't remember whoever else it was.
Big Boy.
He got some backlash for that too.
But
again, I think people took the opportunity because they were like, "This is the Super Bowl. This is another opportunity
and it's in
for me."
So now, I told you I was going to do this, but I have a theory. I have a theory about the Super Bowl. I have a theory about some of the celebrities who kind of spoke out about the Super Bowl, and kind of going back to the last couple episodes with the government shutdown and all of that. The government was only reopened to fund the Super Bowl.
That's perfect timing.
I believe, had not the Patriots been in the Super Bowl, which the owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, is good friends with Donald Trump, the government would not have been open. Robert Kraft got on the phone or somehow communicated to Donald Trump that, hey, we're ready to lose a lot of money with the government being closed. We need you to reopen it, get these people their paychecks so they can give us this money. Whatever kickbacks you're going to get from that, you're going to get your kickbacks. And let's all just have a weekend of making money. Do what you want the 2 weeks after that.
Stop funds. They said that the government shutdown was a big hit financially for the U.S. So when you said that initially, I was thinking, oh, you mean like TSA and da-da. Like, people ain't get their checks though. Because when you think about it, because this is the effed up part about the government shutdown. Yeah, they did go to work, so they weren't getting paid. But when they returned to work, they were not paid for the days not worked.
But some people were. Some people were.
February. Some people were working. You're right. Some people were working. But it's February, and most people probably done ran through a whole month of PTO. You see what I'm saying? So it was perfect timing. Now, if they shut it down again on February 15th, we'll know something. We'll know something. They ain't get no holiday pay for that president. Dang, no. It's not funny to the people, but I'm just saying they cut it off right before they have to, continue to issue more checks because We've been open for how long now? Well, is it 1 week or we're?
I think about a week.
About a week. So
ago.
Valentine's Day would be a couple weeks. They would just be really getting a couple, like one paycheck. That's disturbing on so many levels.
But then you had some people that kind of like, we've all in the Black community been championing Meek Mill.
Yes.
For his courageous comeback, for his battle with, the justice system,
yep.
and all of that. And his release was kind of not forced, but supported and influenced by Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots.
I saw him. He was dancing with Cardi B, right?
When asked the question about it, Meek Mill said, "It's basically no question I'm supporting the NFL because they supported me." So while making the pill easier to swallow for a whole lot of people, like way easier to swallow when your favorite celebrities are right here with
the people.
Exactly.
And I get it. And again, I don't see. You know what? I don't have much like. Oh, Robert Kraft. I don't have any of that. I'm not very familiar with him. I don't, he is who he is. I'm not very familiar with him, but I still feel like everyone in the league doesn't feel like this is the good old boys club and you're gonna do what I say type business.
Not everybody feels like that.
Yeah, but again, I think people have we're different. We're all different, we have our different ways of doing things that support the causes that we want to support, regardless of whether they're racially motivated or not.
Right, but silence is often looked at as what?
Yeah.
As a vote for the opposition.
It's a vote for the opposition.
So, they won't speak out and be vocal about how, even if they don't feel that way, they won't be vocal that they're in support of the players.
Right.
Because they backlash. Exactly. And their constituents, who a lot of them is white America.
Yeah.
They're just not going to go for it.
So did you guys enjoy the Super Bowl?
I hope you didn't.
Nobody. I don't think anyone enjoyed it. I didn't hear anything about it.
No, it was the lowest, probably one of the lowest viewerships in the last
10 years.
Yeah.
But.
It deservedly so.
I think Maroon 5 was like the highlight. But haven't they done this Super Bowl halftime show before? I feel like they had Maroon 5.
I believe they did.
I feel like they have.
And that performance wasn't great. Wasn't standing. Like, come on. Avril Lavigne, Beyonce, man.
Oh, she's Avril Lavigne. Don't do that.
It's a man.
Oh no. Oh
That's
my
not,
God.
I tripping?
Avril Lavigne is a whole woman. You're talking about
whatever his name is.
Avril Lavigne is a girl. Maroon 5, the guy in Maroon 5.
Adam.
Adam
Levine? Is that
Adam Levine?
Alright, Adam
Adam
Levine. Bro, I'm sorry. It's your sister.
I don't think they're related.
They're the same.
Alright, go ahead. They got the same last name? Okay, Johnson and Johnson. Let's go.
Hey, you're wild. You are wild. Man, make sure Sorry, guys. So, we're back again.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to stop being so poor, and I'm going to actually get a camera.
Stop!
Just tell them the truth, man. You got to tell people the truth, always.
So, anyone see the State of the Union with Stacey Abrams?
The real State of the Union?
Alright, the real State of the Union. She gave a response to the State of the Union, right? That was her agenda? That was pretty cool. Yeah,
like I said, she answered a lot of the questions or answered a lot of the things that people really wanted to ask. People on the left really wanted to ask, and she kind of filled in the blanks. Is the best way I guess I can say it. She's very well spoken. She was very heartwarming, and I think she touched a lot of people. And I'm gonna be honest. I hope she runs for president. I know we were talking on the show a couple episodes ago. We were giving Kamala Harris the head nod, and I'm not opposed to her, but what I will say is I would much rather see Stacey Abrams in office than her. And granted, I try to be an optimist, but I'm a realist at heart, and I don't think America would want Stacey Abrams as president.
That's true.
Now,
they didn't want Barack Obama. Everybody didn't want to. I mean, everybody, none of us are all going to agree, but I understand exactly what you're saying.
But see,
but you know why? Because it's kind of like a total poll, right? Because it's up into Barack Obama, right? U.S. history, all white male presidents.
Then you get a mixie.
Oh.
That's what they call him. They basically called him a mixie.
And then there was Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And actually, Hillary was like, it's supposed to be me. Then it was Barack Obama. And then she's like, okay, it's my turn for show right now. And then Barack Obama pissed off Donald Trump, and here we are.
Barack Obama didn't piss Donald Trump off.
Yes, he did.
He didn't really.
Donald Trump started it. Donald started it, but every time I remember that Donald was president, I go back to that day that they had that press conference, and it was like, yeah, right, you can be president too. I was just like, why you ever tell that man he couldn't his own?
But he did it as a publicity stunt. Like, he did it as a publicity stunt. He didn't even believe that he would win. And this is why when he challenged the guy from Starbucks, the owner of Starbucks, to run for president, Donald Trump he knows how to play things. He's not a billionaire for nothing. As much as he sounds silly when he speaks, insensitive when he talks, he knows how to manipulate situations. I watched that whole from the Super Bowl situation all the way up through the government shutdown.
I'm not about to give you credit for that type of stuff. No. Wealthy hire intelligent people. This is why they tell you to go to college. Wealthy can hire intelligent people. I'm not playing. Come on now. Everybody knows. I don't know everything. But if I can afford to hire people,
but the relationships though. The relationships that he was willing to, the relationship that he has with Russia, relationships that he exactly. But that's what all of this is about. This brings us to a video.
It brings us to a video. We'll let you guys hear it. I'll wait for it to start from the beginning. But basically, this woman named Marianne Williamson is running and basically says that she wants to give reparations for slavery, $100 billion over a 10-year period.
Right. Shout out to my man, brother Jen, who actually sent me this video. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And the breakdown of this really puts it in perspective and shows you how I'll say they really feel about us.
Okay, so let's hear it out.
Marianne Williamson, who is running for the presidency of the United States, and she's proposing to give us, the children of the transatlantic slave trade, $100 billion over a 10-year period, $10 billion a year as reparations. Let me unpack this. During World War II, 1942 1945, the Japanese were put in concentration camps. Fast forward, 1988, President Ronald Reagan signs the Civil Liberties Act, by which he gave over 100,000 Japanese $20,000 per head as reparations. year, America gives Israel $4 to $6 billion, and they've been giving Israel money since 1949, which now makes it 70 years that America has been funding Israel. And just in 2016, they gave Israel $38 billion just for their military, and they were not slaves on this soil. Let's break this down. She proposes $100 billion to be given as reparations to 50 million of us. 100 billion divided by 50 million equals only $2,000, but they want to do it over a 10-year period of time. So that means every year for 10 years, they want to give each one of us $200. Some of you are like, well, Reza, what is the problem with that? $200 is pretty cool, right? $200 for everything that our Peace Family Brother Reza's ancestors went through, and everybody else is getting a whole lot more money. But let me just say it this way. America owes us far more money than that. Let me go ahead and unpack this piece of data. America owes China a little over 1.1 trillion, Japan a little over 1 trillion, including all the other 40 or 50 countries. America now states that she's a little over $27.1 trillion in debt. But if you add in all of the debt for all of those countries upon whom she owes, it's a little over 60 trillion. Clarify something. We are between 45 to 50 million strong in America. And America owes us over $51.2 trillion. So if you want to run for the presidency, go ahead and do your thing, but stop using our pain for your campaign and for votes. We need to stop voting anyway. Simply unite, come together so that we can do something for ourselves. This way, give us our land. 3 to 5 states. Give us the land. You're trying to keep us attached to you because you want us to be your damn slaves forever. We don't want the money. Give us the land and we'll make the money. 3 to 5 states, and let's see if you're really real about it.
Stop voting anyway, come together and do something for ourselves. System ain't for us.
$200 a year?
$200.
Like what?
That's the cost of filing your taxes.
Just
Just tell them. Just they can tell
like,
you that they gonna either take some money or give you back something that they took already.
I really don't get it. I really don't. And I know she pulled that number. She had to pull that number. Excuse my language, but she pulled it out her ass. Like, come on, $100 billion. What is that gonna do?
I don't know. But when you see $100 billion, it looks like a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it sounds like. And
no.
that's what I think she thought. Like, we wouldn't do the math.
Have to go back and strategize.
Like, come on now. $200 over 10 years. Kiss.
If it really was open for discussion, though, I definitely hope anyone who's representing us knows that $200 or $2,000 a year isn't sufficient.
So that brings up an interesting conversation. What do you feel like would be sufficient reparations?
That's a good question. We talked about this, and honestly, I'm not sure of the exact number, but I know for sure if I hear that he gave somebody in another country $20,000 a head and has been paying Israel since 1940 something, over 70. Throw
a number out there. Throw a nice round number out there.
More than 20 and surpass Israel. Okay?
I mean, I could do with.
But this is the thing, and this is the thing that bothers me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
This is the thing that bothers me. Like, you made a good point. You said my ancestors built these roads, these things.
Why am I paying taxes?
Why are you paying taxes? But then you go back and think about it. All the Hispanic people who came here and heavily saturated the construction company. You think their ancestors, their people did not build this country too, and they're trying to kick them out without anything? It's the same thing over and over again. It's infuriating. So, and they're not going to give us 40 acres and a mule, but if they do, I want 80 acres. 3 mules.
I mean, I'll take my 40 acres. I don't know, a mule, a Ferrari would be nice.
You ain't gonna get nothing.
A Ferrari would be nice. A whole house would be nice. I want empty out the account. I mean, I want my part of the land that my ancestors owed.
Absolutely.
And I want for my family, because my ancestors struggled for so long.
Right.
The generations after shouldn't have to struggle as hard. And that's what makes racism in America so distasteful, because it's not only that we have to, You don't even take something that's nasty, you swallow it a little while
Still,
later.
you spit it out and it's still there.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. I think that's the more insulting part about it, because they say, oh, you know, China, Japan, Israel, and then give it back to those countries. All people do is show us horrible places in Africa and strip them of their resources, right? Then tell us how everybody that's Nigerian or from Africa is a crook. It just makes you more upset. It just makes you more upset. So it is what it is.
So I mean, we can't do anything.
They just
to
people out of the country. 21.
We gotta do it for ourselves. And you know, it's a fact that, you know, black people are what's the word that I'm looking for? I want to say ostracized, or that might be the right word. Ostracized everywhere, even in the UK.
So I low-key did not feel like that all the time. I was like, I wonder how people act over here, because where we were, it was a lot of people. It wasn't just white people. It was people from everywhere there. It's kind of like being in New York, right? So I was just like, you know, God forbid anything occurs, right? But the people were so not. The people that we actually had to sit down and talk with and, you know, communicate, have conversations, people were cool and they were good people, and we had not.
But see, that's the great thing about tourism, or that's the weird thing about tourism, I'll say, because it gives you the false impression that this is what the entirety is like, and that's not what the entirety is like.
Oh, possibly.
Because there are those neighborhoods in, you know, Europe where the racial dynamic of the neighborhood is mostly black, and I'm sure that there is the same amount of racism displayed in those places as well. It's talked about as well.
It is talked about. You know what's weird though? I read a lot of comments, and people in the UK go, "This is horrible the way they treat black people in your country. They don't do this over here." So I honestly don't know. I haven't gotten a taste of what that looks like. I have heard that there's a lot of talk about Meghan Markle, you know, Prince Harry's wife, and I always wonder, well, what is that attributed to? Like, you know, and they say it's, you know, the new person in the palace or the kingdom, but it is what it is. I don't know. I don't feel like we got that vibe as where we were, but it could easily be anywhere. Yeah. So.
But it was weird because I heard someone speaking on the subject, and it might have been a gentleman from the other video. He was talking about how once 21 Savages, because his visa expired long time ago.
2003, 2004?
Yeah. So when his first couple cases that he got involved in, they knew that his visa was expired then. But he still stayed in his country.
Right.
It wasn't until he changed his image, or was changing his image around it, that they decided to deport him. He stopped buying the jewelry. He stopped, you know, started giving back to his community that he basically grew up in
right.
Atlanta. And now, you know, you got all these memes and all this about him, he's not really from here, he's from, you know, from over there. And it shows how they'll try to discredit who you are.
Right.
To make sure that anything positive in our community is somehow tainted.
You're right. When I first heard the story, I was like, deported him, and then of course they said, okay, well, he's not a U.S. citizen. I'm like, oh, okay, so what happened? Like, I was really confused. I was like, okay, so what happened? Like, and I wasn't really digging for things. I was he's from Atlanta, right? So I'm thinking, okay. And then I hear, and then I was reading something today that says he applied for a visa for whatever he needs 4 years ago, and it's been pending ever. 4 years? 4 years? That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time.
So why deport him now?
Like you said, these things that
come
that
on,
may be
man.
part of it. But I mean, I feel for him. You know, man has 3 kids. It's a family. They're here.
But
you know, he's in a 23-hour lock.
This government has no problem separating
Jay-Z
families.
said, still ninja. Okay?
Like it's crazy, and we know what happens to people when they're in custody of ICE. Like we know what happens to.
I just got like chills on, like every time somebody says ICE, I think about those 2 kids that died. Every time. And then bombing the women and children who were by the board, like that's what I see. That's exactly what I see.
Dr. Sebi. Like, and I don't think he was with ICE. I don't think he was with them, but anytime you're a black man in the custody of law enforcement, like, there's a chance that you might not make it. And that is sad. Like, it's so sad. There is a 50-50 chance that you're not going to make it.
I think the odds are greater than this. But I think...
you think so?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's 50-50. I really do.
All right.
So
I'm exaggerating. 75.
Like, come on. No, like, so for example, in custody, you mentioned people of color in custody, the Brooklyn jail, right? All right. So if anyone was watching the news this past weekend, the New York jail basically ran no electricity and no running water, not this Sunday, but the Sunday before. So it had been a full week. I think they're still struggling to get some things. I haven't touched up on the story in a couple of days. But basically I saw it on social media, it came out, and this is what happened. There are people in the Brooklyn jail. There are men. This is a men's holding cell, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it's a holding cell. These are people who have been in there, some people over a year, waiting for a court date. Most likely cannot afford bail, a lawyer, or anything like that to get out, right? They have not been convicted. I think this is a very important thing to say, because people say, oh, they're in jail, they deserve to be in jail. Listen, if you are in jail, and it's in the law, you know, the little motto for the law is innocent until proven guilty. But they're holding you in a cell, and you don't have an opportunity to prove whether you're innocent or guilty, or have the privilege of 12, citizens, hearing your story. So they go, no heat, no electricity, no running water, which means no food, no blankets, freezing. It was freezing cold last weekend. They're in New York, in Brooklyn, and there were, thank God, people who spoke up about what was happening, but it was crushing to me. It was crushing to me. They would ask the men, do you have electricity? Bang on the window. If you have food, bang on the window. If you have a blanket. And then the governor or the mayor came in and delivered like hand warmers and blankets. And they were like, oh great, thank you guys so much for stepping up. And then somehow it got word out that they didn't even receive the blankets and the hand warmers because they had to be inspected before being distributed to the inmates. And there was video footage of them literally like bundled up in just their sweatshirts and sweatpants and their shirts and their sweaters wrapped around their head to keep warm or conceal their identity, but they were cold. You can tell they were cold. And it was just inhumane. I mean, can you imagine? I don't know, but when I saw that, you guys, emotionally, I broke. I was just like, you could not imagine living in conditions like this outside of a prison, let alone inside of one, when you have no choice whether you go left or right. They were in cells for 24 hours a day, no access to visitation, couldn't call their lawyer, couldn't make any phone calls. And the worst rumor I heard was it started because the inmates were laughing at the prison guards because they were not getting paid during the government furlough. And so they cut off the electricity, something caught fire, and then I think it turned it on. When it turned it on, it wasn't working properly. It caught fire, blew out the system, and then that's when they had to call somebody in to fix it. And it was Sunday when a whole 7 full days before they actually got electricity back, and it wasn't even the full building at the same time. So imagine a prison being without heat, running water, they couldn't go to the bathroom for 7 days, and having to reheat itself. That's gonna take 2 or 3 days before it even gets back to normal temperature. I was distraught. I really was, because these are people who have not even had the opportunity to see a judge. They were not convicted. This is a holding cell. Why are they in a hold? That's all I can think about. Why are they in a holding cell? Like, they probably could not afford bail. And this happens all over. And think about the voiceless. If there was no one there to stand out front for them, how long would they have gone without these things?
But the president chose not to speak about it.
He wasn't going to speak about it.
He offered no assistance.
But
No
you can't blame the president for everything.
Oh, yes,
No, you can't, because he can't touch everything. That's the same thing they said about Barack Obama. Oh, he ain't talking about it. You can't blame the president for everything. There are people in place. There are local officials that should be doing something about this. You have a job and a responsibility to the people who elected you. And the people who didn't even vote for you, you have responsibility to those people. The mayor, the governor, the warden, like, what's your job? What is your job?
To take care of the inmates.
Exactly. So it comes much closer and more intimate in responsibilities than the president. The president's over there worried about something else. He can't do everything. And just can't.
When there is a prison,
it happens all over the U.S. This isn't anything new.
I'm sure it isn't new, but it made headlines. Didn't it?
It made headlines because the right people got called and because the news showed up. And you wonder if it hadn't been maybe a slow press week, would it have even gotten the attention of the news? I just, whew,
there are some subjects that, I'm gonna be honest, I probably shouldn't.
Why?
I just probably shouldn't.
It happens everywhere. That's a lot for me.
It is.
That's a lot
but
for me.
We can't leave tonight without something positive.
I mean, they had their heat back on, guys. I'm very happy about that. I hope they have food. I hope they have working toilets. No. I hope they have access to an attorney.
Yes.
But I hope what it really did, I hope it really brought attention to the fact that there are thousands of people in cells who cannot afford bail. And that could be as small or as large of an amount, as it could be, but they can't afford it. So they're sitting in prison, literally disconnected from their families, their lives, and their livelihoods.
And could possibly be innocent.
Could possibly be innocent. I think that's the thing that gets me. It's unjust. It's like the I do not want to say
Reparations.
wrong.
Free bail.
No, Khalif. The Khalif story. What's the I don't want to say his name wrong.
Who?
It was Khalif. It was a young guy who was in a prison cell. He was held there. He didn't do anything wrong. He was in prison for a long time, and he got out, and he had so many things going through his head. He killed himself. Like, you just, like, it's unjust. But anyway, you can go to a positive thing.
I'm trying to end the show on a positive note.
Yes,
Somebody here
positivity.
is like, dang.
You got 2 shows in one today, y'all.
2 shows in one.
Two.
was a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it really was.
But like I said, one of them stopped being so poor and actually like. Alright, camera. Anyway, so.
Are you ready for Valentine's Day?
Great seven. You're awesome. Sorta, kinda. The plans are.
Good job.
I actually didn't do the planning. My wife did. She did a
Good
great job.
job, sis.
Thank you, Kalia. Yeah, so she just about took care of everything. Of course, you know, with my wallet, but you know,
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Good job, sis.
It's awesome. How about you?
Yeah. I actually don't know what's going on. I don't think that I wanted anything extravagant.
She's lying.
No,
Okay,
no.
she's
Last
lying.
year was awesome. I'm good. I don't have any.
So
I
we
just
got one
want
more episode
one-on-one.
before
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Actually, the day before Valentine's Day.
It is.
So we'll come back to
But
more.
last year this time the Black Panther came out and we got to be excited about that before Valentine's Day. This year they're playing Black Panther
For free in the movies. Hey, that's a free Valentine's Day.
Forever.
A free Valentine's Day. Take your significant other to watch Black Panther one more time. That's gonna be great. I can't wait this year. The Lion King movie is gonna come out. When it comes out, guys, go watch in July.
I'm gonna cry.
Please don't.
I am. I'm gonna cry.
Please don't. Just a few closing things, as always, guys. We thank you guys for watching. We just hope that you will subscribe to our channel at some point or another. All of those other ways to watch or listen to us are still in the works. They just cost money. So,
We're getting there.
we are getting there.
We're getting
But
there.
stick with us. We love you guys. And as always, we will see you next week.